Yes.
Is there a motion for approval?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The minutes from the last meeting have passed. Next is consideration of the consent agenda. Councilors, are there any items you'd like to place on consent?
Yes.
Madam President?
Yes. I'd like to submit the following items for consent. Item number 8 on page 3. Item numbers 10 and 12 on page 4. Items 13 and 14 on page 5. Item 15 on page 6. And item 17 on page 7.
Okay, perfect. Council Abbott, are there any items you'd like to place on consent? Okay, and then, it's been noted that items 5 and 6 have been withdrawn from the administration. So the items are on consent, item 8 on page 3, items 10 and 12 on page 4, items 13 and 14 on page 5, item 15 on page 6, and item 17 on page 7. Is there a motion for approval?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The consent agenda has passed. If your item was placed on consent, you may enjoy the rest of your day. Otherwise, we will get on with the agenda. The first item is item number 4. It's a project funding agreement between the city of Birmingham and Joanna LLC, under which you will take a project to open a 5-star Japanese restaurant in downtown Birmingham, generate 40 jobs, financial incentives under the RISE program in the amount of $50,000, and a tax incentive over the next 3 years, an amount up to but not to exceed $371,833.
Move the item.
Hey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm Griffin Lassiter. I serve as a senior project manager in IAO. First, before I present this, I'd like to apologize to the committee for my absence 2 weeks ago today. I'm simply getting older, and I got my first and third Mondays and my second and fourth Tuesdays confused. So it was
okay.
totally my fault.
No, you're fine, you're fine.
Today, we're asking for your consideration of an agreement with Johanna LLC. That calls for an incentive agreement for a new 5-star Japanese restaurant to be located on 2nd Avenue North between 20th and 21st Streets. Basically, that's across the street from Helen Restaurant. Though in a few years, I think we're going to say this restaurant, and Helen's across the street from this restaurant. The principals are here today and will provide further details on the restaurant. And Alan Foster from the Office of the City Attorney is here to address questions about the agreement itself. In addition to the details in the submission and the agreement, the Johanna restaurant is unique in that it is the only restaurant of its type in the Central Business District, and it will be minority-owned and operated. The incentives proposed are $50,000 from RISE funding to be paid at the opening of the restaurant, and a 3-year incentive paid from actual sales tax receipts paid to the city. The sales tax incentive would be paid in arrears with an annual cap of $125,000 in each of the 3 years, a cap, and a 3-year cap up to $371,833. The incentive is not. Our assistance amounts to just under 25% of the total investment by the owners, and the city realizes considerable sales tax receipts after the annual incentive is paid. So we're not paying out all of our sales tax, even if we get to the annual max. And that, in addition to property tax and other incentives that we pay. Finally, the agreement calls for liquidated damages to be paid to the city if the restaurant does not operate for at least 5 years. That's in your agreement. Alan can explain that too, but it's also paragraph 2.2 in the operating covenants that you have in your in your agreement. So at this time, I'd just like to call on the restaurant principals for a few more details on the restaurant itself. And then, like I said, Alan is also here if you have questions about the actual agreement. Name and title and home address.
Good afternoon.
Good
My name is
afternoon.
Ashley Daniel. I am the operating manager, and my address, 4904 Heatherbrook Road, Birmingham, Alabama 35242.
Hi, y'all. I'm Sean Love. I'm from Birmingham, but I live in Los Angeles, California. I'm one of the operating partners.
Okay, is there any additional information we need to know about your business?
You're gonna love it.
Well, I'm sure they'll have more questions about the menu, et cetera. So, Counselor Abbott, do you have any questions?
Actually, I think all my questions that I had were answered. And mainly it was about the incentive, what it was based on, and then how many years. But I know y'all are gonna be in business for at least 50 years because you're young
Thank you so much.
and you have energy.
Yes.
Of course, after 50 years. Let me tell you. Anyway, but I really am curious about the Japanese restaurant. How did y'all learn to cook Japanese food?
Well,
I mean, it's just a fascination, or?
I've been to 32 different countries, and so throughout my traveling, I have a very expansive palate, and my favorite is Japanese. And one of the partners, she is a partner in a 5-star Japanese restaurant in Los Angeles, California. And I told her, I was like, I think this would be great to bring this to my hometown. And they, like, why Birmingham? But why not Birmingham? The restaurant scene is really hungry. It's growing in Birmingham. So Japanese is one of the most expensive restaurants you're going to go to, and just to be a part of it is really good.
Well, great. I'm excited about it. I love Chinese food.
Totally different.
But that's because I've been exposed to it more, so I'll have to come to your restaurant and get exposed.
Do you know what omakase means? It means basically to trust the chef. Leave it up to you, and we will provide that experience here in Birmingham. No one has it.
Got it. That's all.
Okay, Madam Pro Tem?
Well, thank you so much for bringing this type of restaurant to us, and I was just interested about your business model. What do you think will make this one stand out in the city of Birmingham, given the cuisine and everything? Are you making it more of a, it's like a drop-in restaurant, or is it full service? I see 5 stars, so tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, so in our previous meeting, Hunter asked us about Nobu. So I guess on the scale of Nobu, however, definitely higher, setting the bar, because what we are going to bring is experience. So when we say experience, we mean like tableside service, which will be like the main thing that no one has seen here in the scene yet.
And about when you talk about service, so often so many people, they don't anticipate the crowd, and there's a long wait and things like that. So have you put into your business model just how you're going to move the crowd? I'm hopeful you have a great crowd. But, sometimes business slow down because they're not able to manage the interest that's seen at the beginning. So
That's unexperienced. It's from my experience. I've been doing hospitality since '95, so it will run like a train.
perfect. Looking forward to that. Thank you. That's my question.
Yeah, Counselor Abbott, do you have any more questions?
No more questions.
Okay, now, when are you expecting to open? I think I missed that, maybe.
We at the mercy of the city right now, so the systems were down a little bit, and so we just got to the point, we have our drawings, we're ready, and so our architect and our engineer, they just gave it to one more guy, and he's at the city right now, our contractor, so
Doing
in
our
the fall.
permitting. Yeah, so fall of this year.
Fall of this year for sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
I just have one request, just let me know when you guys open.
You will
'Cause my
know.
law office is actually up the street, so I'm excited, I get more food options, I have Helen's, Japanese, I have a burger place, and,
Yes.
you know, I'm really excited to see that whole area transform. I do agree, Birmingham is really on the rise for, restaurant scene. I think my friends and I were just, talking about whether we still live in Birmingham, we live somewhere else, that we have better food than Atlanta. And I think we keep every time, you know, y'all think yes, we do have better food than Atlanta, okay, I'll
Yeah,
make the
well,
difference. I'm
the Atlanta restaurant scene is booming, but we just a little bit behind, just a little bit, but we gonna make that thing. It's gonna be like something you've never seen. I
Yeah.
promise. It's gonna be it's the experience. It doesn't.
Yeah.
The food is gonna be top tier. You can have this beautiful restaurant and the food is trash, but here
Atlanta.
the service, the food, it's gonna be
Yeah.
top tier.
I mean, that's a compliment to our city that our food is really good, so.
Very.
But I'm excited, I'm very hopeful, so good luck to you all, so.
Thank you
Well,
so much.
I think there's been a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye, the item passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
so much. Thank you, guys. Y'all have a great day.
You too.
So we weren't the holdup.
No, we were not, for once. Item number 7, redevelopment agreement between the City of Birmingham and Omega Bridge Builders Foundation, under which the Omega Bridge Builders Foundation will undertake a project to refurbish and transform the former Inslee precinct located at 624 19th Street, Inslee, including interior and exterior reconstruction for development of a multi-purpose outreach center by eliminating blight, provide youth and community training groups, and conduct other revenue-generating programs as they become available. The city has agreed to make the property available at a use value of $30,000.
Second.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, councilors. Today, we're asking your support and approval to sell the former Birmingham Police Department West Precinct property to the Omega Bridge Builders Foundation for a total sales price of $30,000. The building is located on the corner of a real blighted area in the Inslee area on 19th Street and Avenue G. It's been vacant for no more than 12 years. Probably I know it's a lot more than that. There's extensive vandalism has been done to the building over all the years, and we're asking, we'd like to try to get this building moved so that we can change that corner and that perception in that area. The Omega Bridge Builders Foundation is the philanthropic arm of the Alpha Phi chapter of Omega Psi Phi fraternity. I have representatives from the organization is here today, and they are able to answer any questions and expound more on what they're proposing to do at the site.
Yes, can you bring them up?
Come forward.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good
I'm
afternoon.
Charles Willis, Executive Director of the Omega Lamplighters Bridge Builders Foundation.
My name is Walter Body. I live at 1813 Calvary Drive. I'm a member of Alpha Phi Chapter of Omega Psi Phi fraternity.
And I'm Art Franklin at 248 Highland View Drive in Birmingham, and also a member of Alpha Phi Chapter of Omega Psi Phi. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Is there any additional information we need to know?
Basically, I'll share with you, the Omega Bridge Builders has already been stated is the philanthropic wing of Alpha Phi Chapter. That is our mentoring wing where we focus on students from age 12 to 18, development in areas of leadership, academics, maturity, and perseverance. So developing those attributes necessary to be successful at a later time. Additionally, we provide tutoring, ACT prep, and family engagements for them, and also opportunities to develop their parents as well. So which has primarily been our focus.
All right, gotcha. Madam Pro Tem, do you have any
Yes,
questions?
thank you very much. I guess I understood the assignment when I saw it was the Omega Builders Foundation that's bringing this. So first, let me tell you, congratulations on your centennial for your organization. I think you were founded in 1924. So thank you for the service that you've given to Birmingham. Tell me a little bit about what this may mean for the Inslee neighborhoods as far as just the services that you can provide and the quality of life that you want to bring there with that building having been vacant for so long.
I'll take that. First of all, I want to say good afternoon, Madam President. Good to see you, and Councilwoman, and also Councilwoman Abbott as well. What we see in terms of the benefits of the community, first of all, is the community revitalization. We all know how important it is to revitalize the Inslee area. Things are already in motion there. But we're also talking about the jobs that are created because of the building and the construction, what we'll be doing. Also, the jobs that will be created because of the administrative work that will be done by the various organizations. Also, it gives us an opportunity to collaborate with some of the other nonprofits in the area. I know arts is big for that area. We really want to see arts in that community. There's a nonprofit that I work with called Flourish Alabama that we'd like to see them have an opportunity to be housed in a place in Inslee as well. You're talking about after-school programs and what that means for so many young people who will be in a safe environment and in a place where they'll be guided by the wisdom and experience of the Omegas with the Omega Bridge Builders Program. So when you start talking about community engagement, collaboration, and also enhancement in voter registration and getting more people in that area engaged with voter registration, education, and mobilization, it really provides an opportunity to really be beneficial to people in that area.
All right, thank you very much. And Ms. Dothert, this sale would be, you said, for $30,000? And so, I guess I don't know if I want to say, the building has been vacant for how long?
I know more than 12 years.
Okay,
I've been here
okay.
longer than that.
All right, thank you. That's it for
That's
right
it,
now.
okay. Counselor Abbott?
Well, Ms. Dothard, you know I have to ask about the appraisal of the property.
The appraisal was sent in the email to, and I was gonna refer to the picture.
Yes. I'm not seeing it, but let me look back.
Yeah, I went plowing through it and maybe I plowed too fast. Well, can you just tell us how
Yes.
much it was? Is that a secret?
No, the appraised value, the picture you gave was sent, this was 245, 245,000, the appraised value is.
245?
Yes, but the building, you know, is in very bad shape.
It wasn't in very good shape the last time I was in it, and it was occupied, and it wasn't in very good shape back then, so. So I can see that the Omegas have taken on a large project here, but I wanted to ask about the other revenue-generating programs as they become available. What does that mean exactly?
So currently, some of our revenue-generating programs include a 5K walk, includes golf tournaments. Also, we're relying on contributions and donations to our nonprofit entity as well.
Can I also add to that as well?
Sure.
And in addition to that, so in redeveloping the building, it will be event space as well. So there'll be revenue generated from having an event space, and people will be able to rent out various portions of it as well.
Okay, so it's gonna be an event space, but since it'll be y'all, we won't get any complaints about noise or misbehavior. Okay, and plus at the West Precinct, that would be kind of embarrassing. But so the other revenue-generating programs are basically fundraisers that y'all put on to help support the programs for the youth and everybody else
That is correct.
you're helping.
As well, if I may add, good evening. If I may add, we, the members of the chapter, give each year to our 501c3 as a way to help give back to the community. So the members of the organization will also be contributing back to the upkeep and the maintenance of the building.
Okay, thank you. Those are all my questions.
Okay. I don't have any questions. I'm familiar with your work. And, you know, you guys are my brothers in Greek land, so I support anything you do. So I think was there a motion and a second? There's a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The item passes. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Next
Thank you.
item is item number 9. This is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement on behalf of the city to host a spring break film camp for grades 8 through 12 for Birmingham City School kids. And this is for a term not to exceed June 30th, 2024, for a amount not to exceed $1,000.
Move the item.
Second.
Okay. Yes, I guess, Mr. McDaniel? Nope, nope.
Madam
Sis-
Chair, I'm not for sure, but if there's a question, feel free to ask.
Did you get my email saying I want to add to this? Can I do that for you?
You can, yes, ma'am.
No, you're fine.
Well, I have a question.
Yes, Counselor Abbott?
Yeah, so is this like for a one-time event, or is this a program, an ongoing program?
I can't. I can't speak for the vendor, Counselor Abbott. What I can say is that from what I know, the camps that the vendor has held, they've been held throughout the year, both in the spring and in the summer. But I can't speak to the specific, dates and times of all of the camps that they hold. But they've held them throughout, essentially 2 seasons of the year.
Okay, so it's not a one-time event, it's an ongoing program?
It is.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Madam President?
Yes, I just wanted to say that I am familiar with the program and have supported it in the past. I do know that gives opportunity for students during spring break, and I also thought during the summer, that they bring actors and actresses here and directors, and typically they produce a project as part of their report out or the commencement of the program. So I wanted to add some additional funding to this particular item, and I'd like to do $1,500 from the District 7 discretionary.
Okay, so we'll make a note to add 1,500, which will make the amount $2,500. And the 1,500 will come from
D7.
D7's discretionary funding.
The two?
Yes, of course.
For the record, Madam Chair, GL account number is 001 000 04270 542 001.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So it's $9,500 now.
No,
Only 25.
Wait, it says 8,000, don't you?
No, item 9.
Okay, I've written my notes on the wrong item.
That's okay.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, now I've got the math right. I was confused for a minute. Thank you.
Do we need another motion?
I don't remember if we did or not, so I'll move the item.
Okay, as
Second.
amended. Okay, second. All in favor say aye. Aye. The item passes. Next item is item number 11. This is with Jim Burke Automotive. We'll sign an incentive agreement between the city and Jim Burke dated August 1st, 2009 to Hallmark Auto Group LLC and Hallmark One LLC. Pursuant to the incentive agreement, the city agreed to provide a sales tax agreement to Jim Burke as part of the City of Birmingham New Automotive Sales Stimulus Program for a term of 30 years. Okay. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, committee members. Renio Johnson, Service Project Manager to the Department of IO. The item before you this afternoon is a transfer of a statutory 1% sales tax incentive that was provided to all car dealerships. And this is in lieu of the sale of the Jim Burke Automotive Incorporated to the Hallmark LLC Group. So essentially what we're doing is that we're transferring the Jim Burke 1% sales tax incentive to the Hallmark Group. And the sale was consummated officially on the 17th of this month. I have Mark Livings, who was the CEO of Burke, who is now going to be the CEO of Hallmark Group. So it's essentially transferring from Jim Burke to Hallmark Group. The name has changed. Jim Burke is out of the business now.
Okay, is he present?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you help?
Yes, ma'am.
Just introduce yourself so we can know who you are.
Oh, Mark Livings, Birmingham resident.
Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. Madam Pro Tem, do you have any questions?
I don't have any questions, because this is just a, not just a, but it's a transfer from existing business just to the new name. Okay, thank you.
Council Abbott?
Okay, so Hallmark is in the same business as Jim Burke. Will they be selling the same makes of cars, or tell us about Hallmark.
Hallmark purchased the assets of Jim Burke Automotive, employing all the same people and selling all the same brands: Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Nissan, Hyundai, and Subaru.
Okay, so it's just a sale of the business, and
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
going to continue on?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, that was what I wondered about, because Jim Burke's been, gosh,
85 years.
yeah, I mean,
Wow.
I was a child and they were already in business. I think my grandmother bought a car from them, so. Anyway, so thank you.
Okay. I don't have any questions. Is there a motion?
Move the item.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The item passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then our last item is item number 16. This is approval for the City of Birmingham Community Development Department to apply for a $2 million, the Navigate Affordable Housing Affordability Trust Grant, in which we seek to receive the funds and administer funds according to the rules and regulations as set forth by the City of Birmingham's Finance Department policies and procedures for receipt of grant funds and the Community Development Department policies and procedures for receipt of grant funds. The Community Development Department will administer expenditure of funds and draw a grant fund request to provide financial assistance to the developer of the MacArthur School. The redevelopment of the MacArthur School will be from an experienced and qualified developer who will prioritize the production of affordable housing. The developer will abide by the program requirements and guiding principles as set forth by the request for proposal for multifamily residential use and mixed-use development.
Move the item.
Second.
Hey, good afternoon. It's
Good
to see you.
afternoon, everyone, counselors. I'm Megan Venable Thomas. I serve as the Director of Community Development. Any particular questions that you all have?
Can you just tell us more about this? Yeah.
Sure. So this grant opportunity is through Navigate Affordable Housing. They have a affordability trust. And so I think several years ago, were successfully able to apply for $1 million through this trust that we leverage towards affordable housing development. We would like to do that again, this time asking for $2 million, in particular for the redevelopment of MacArthur School. As you all may know, we have maybe 3 or so years ago put out a request for proposals for that development, but since the larger Caraway development wanted to kind of redo and make sure that it really aligned with the larger development plan for the area. So our plan now is to prepare a new request for proposal, again, for mixed use, similar to the request for North Birmingham School, what we want to do there, to put out a proposal for that, and in particular to have some extra capital that helps support that becoming an affordable housing development. So oftentimes we support gap financing for our developers, and this money would help to make sure that we're able to create that gap financing for whoever might be the developer we select.
Okay, perfect. Council Abbott, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I do. Okay, so the MacArthur School will be demolished and the whole site?
No, that is not the hope. Actually, what we're doing now are some of the structural surveys to see how much of the school, if possible, to maintain. And so there's a cost to some of those design and pre-development assessments. And so we're leveraging our own CDBG funds to do that now, or will be. But we want to be able to have this additional gap financing that helps as we have a developer to be able to develop affordable housing. But we don't know yet whether or not how much we'll be able to maintain of the school. We have to have those structural evaluations and assessments done first. But the hope is always, from my perspective, to be able to maintain as much of a historic building as we can.
Yeah, well, I'm more hopeful, but, sometimes it's hard to be hopeful. But yeah, renovating a historic building into dwelling space And I know we've already got a plan to do it over in Smithfield, so we know
That's
it
right.
can be done. So, and certainly the Salvation Army did it. They did a school in North Birmingham also, so there is hope here. But,
There's certainly hope. The challenge is always the longer that a building is left vacant, the more the weather and other elements kind of degrade the actual infrastructure. But the hope is that there may be something to maintain, and that's why we need those assessments.
Well, they were well built back then, so
That's
maybe,
true.
maybe it will be
That is
all
true.
right.
I am also hopeful.
Yeah, and so the idea is that this will be rental housing, or will it be home ownership housing?
So the idea, we would love to be able to do some sort of home ownership potentially on the site. It is quite a large site. So the home ownership component might have to be new construction, but we'll be able to have a better idea of what's possible once we're able to get into the building and do some more of those assessments. So the hope is that we could do some mixes of housing types, either in the actual building itself or on the grounds.
Okay, well, good. We keep hearing about there's a housing shortage, so I'm sure that people will flock to live there as soon as you finish.
I certainly hope so.
Okay, thank you, that's
Yes,
all.
okay. Madam Pro Tem?
I don't have any questions.
I don't have any. I think there was a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The item passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
There isn't any old and new business. The next Budget and Finance Committee meeting will be on Monday, May 13th at 3:30 PM. Is there a motion for adjournment?
I move adjournment.
Second?
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. We didn't ask Chaz one question. Chaz, did you miss us asking you questions?